our sanctuary is full like that so infrequently that it still
Yeah.
gives me a little bit of when you walk out and you're like, whoa.
Bust out your trumpet, bang those timpanis, those lilies are popping. He is risen. Wait, you're supposed to say something. He is
Oh,
risen.
he is risen indeed. Right. Right.
It's okay. You were grooving to your internal trumpet soundtrack. I gotcha. It's
Trumpet
all good.
and tambourine. Yes. Yes. Except, I mean, he is risen, but as you pointed out before we hit go, we actually don't see the risen Christ.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So this is an interesting Easter text. Easter Sunday. Hi, everybody. Word Made Fresh. Adrian Jim talking about upcoming narrative lectionary.
Yeah, yeah.
We're skipping to Luke 24 for Easter Sunday. So you might be watching this, probably are, before even Good Friday and all that stuff. So we're talking about Jesus being risen and he hasn't even been to the cross yet, maybe in your physical timeline. But just track with us. Easter Sunday, that's what we're looking at here. And we're in Luke 24, verses 1 through 12. This is Easter Sunday, but in the text, we don't get to see Jesus. He doesn't show up yet until next week when I'm preaching, so that'll be fun. Uh, but that's just an interesting little. I've never noticed that until literally this exact moment. It's
Right,
fascinating.
right. Yeah, I think it's fascinating too. And what it so I want to say the reason I titled the text, I think it says something about imagine being the keeper of memory. So
Yeah.
there's something in the text where the two angels or men,
There's two angels, two
yeah.
men in dazzling clothes, is how they're
And,
identified.
and
So,
what
yeah.
do they say to the women?
Why do you look for the living among the dead? He is not here, but has risen. Remember how he told you while he was still in Galilee that the Son of Man must be handed over to be sinners, be crucified, the third day rise again. Then they remembered his words.
Yes, so this whole thing about memory, I think
Hmm.
there's something about the angel saying, remember what he said, and then they remembered. Um, there's something, I think, even going on in our world about memory as things are trying to be erased and disappeared, and we're going to take photos off websites and ban books. What does it mean to be the one who keeps the memory? And I think the angels are asking the women to do something important. And I haven't quite landed the plane on it um, because I think there's something in it for us as well. Especially, I think, as I'm thinking of how we are, again, thinking that our faith is flimsy, thinking that prayer and fasting and gathering in community and the ritual of Christianity doesn't really have a lot of power. This call to remember is really important. I'm thinking about the Passover. I think because I'm working on a sermon series that I have to get to this publisher, and I'm remembering when Jesus gathered, when the people gathered for a really quick meal before they had to get out of Egypt. And it's really fascinating to me that in the midst of this attack on who they are, God said, "Wait a minute, let's gather and eat." And how that ritual continues to be such a grounding center in the Passover meal for our Jewish siblings, which is echoed in our communion meal. There's something about that ritual that's over 2,000 years old, and the power I think that we feel when we come to receive the bread and the cup, that speaks to memory. So that's kind of what I'm playing with. I don't know if you have thoughts or questions.
No, I think I love honing in on like the particularity of that phrase, that those words, and just I was scanning ahead when the women go to the other disciples and all the people there. It says, "But these words seemed to them an idle tale, and they did not believe them." So
Right,
it just makes me think in a world where we are forgetting things,
right.
the act of memory and
Yes.
remembering is itself a resurrection. We're resurrecting that which has been forgotten. And in a
Yeah.
world where things are being, pulled off of websites and history is being redacted or rewritten, to remember those stories is itself a resurrection. And people might look at those things like, those are just idle tales, right? But
Ah,
like, no, we have to
yes.
remember those things. And even just the nature of the word remember is to remember, to member again, to
Yes.
So that's
Yes,
what resurrection is. It's a remembering.
it is a remembering. It also, as you said, that made me think how we, as people of faith, as followers of Jesus, also have to constantly remember. Again, and I just keep going back to this, in the face of feeling as if, or even speaking the lack of power in what we do, and this call to remember. There's
Yeah.
power when we gather. There's power in these rituals. There's power in the words of this book and in the God that we follow, who spoke creation into existence with a word. And so I feel that we come together on Sunday mornings to remember, to get nourished and to get filled up, so that we can go out and do the powerful work of love and justice that cannot happen on our own sort of steam.
Yep.
It cannot happen separate and apart from the memory of
Yeah.
who we are. Yeah.
That I think this is a very fresh, very appropriate, like actual, let's look at the text approach to Easter Sunday rather than just like, okay, Easter Sunday, can I just kind of phone this in? He is
Right.
risen, empty tomb, big crowd in the church. I'm going to just hit the favorites, but you're like, no, we're going to go off script here and we're going to look into the footnotes a bit, and everyone's going to have to actually think about Easter rather than just go through the motions of Easter.
Right. That's
There's a
right.
lot even just to that invitation
Yeah.
of what this day is about.
Right. Right. It's funny that you said that also, because there is a remembering of community on Easter Sunday, because there are
Hmm.
people that we probably haven't seen since last Easter Sunday. So we have constituted this community for remembering. And there
Yeah.
is a certain weight and seriousness, because you've got this shot with all these people that you don't typically see, which is maybe intimidating, but also a little fun. And so, yeah, I think to take a fresh take, to invite people into something that they'll be chewing on for days or weeks after, is also a fun place to be as a preacher.
But this is what Easter number 3 for you at Riverside.
Yes, Easter number three. Yep.
So you're like you're a veteran in Riverside's Easters now, right?
I am, but our sanctuary is full like that so infrequently that it still
Yeah.
gives me a little bit of, when you walk out and you're like, whoa, you can't see any pews. All you see are
Yeah.
people. It's quite extraordinary. And I think it feels very weighty to
Yeah.
be saying, thus saith the Lord, to 2,100 people. Or
Well, maybe say a word about that. Not only in the context of Riverside, but clergy everywhere
yeah,
feel that intimidation, that weight, that pressure, that I got one shot, maybe two if I put Christmas in there, but that has a whole other, holiday around it. But this is kind of like they're going to show up on Easter because grandma made you come. What are you kind of, how would you talk to another pastor who's feeling that pressure as well? What would you kind of invite them to hold? How could they hold that?
right. I think I would say some of the same things I say when guests are preaching at Riverside. So it's very easy. And when I'm interviewed, people will say to me, "What's it like to stand in the pulpit where Martin Luther King stood?" Blah blah. And it's extraordinary. And you can't think about it. If you think about it, it's very hard, I think, to be focused on the task that you've been given, which is to bring a word, a faithful word to the people from God. And so I think it's helpful to not think, oh, it's Easter, or oh, I'm standing where Martin Luther King stood. I think it's helpful to get quiet and centered, however you do that, and to hear from the Spirit what the needs of the people are today. Um, and I think that's the case whether you're preaching in the pulpit of the Riverside Church where Martin Luther King, all of that, or you're preaching at like my little home church in Camp Springs, Maryland. The people are the people wherever they are, and the people need a word from God. And we have seen guest preachers come to Riverside, extraordinary preachers, and you're just kind of sitting there going, "What is happening right now?" And I think we forget that the people are the people, and they need a word from God, no matter where they are. And when extraordinary preachers remember that, they have extraordinary sermons at the Riverside Church. And when they forget it, it's really bad. And so I think that's true for us. When we forget that Yes, it's Easter Sunday, but it's also a Sunday, right? Every Sunday is Resurrection Sunday, and the people still need a word. If we can stay as preachers focused on that and what has God given me for God's people, then I think we'll be good. We'll be faithful.
It's just another Sunday, right?
In a
I
lot
mean,
of ways,
yes, and yeah,
yes, and yes. Because I mean, we make Easter and it is a big deal because it is the day. Um, But I think God would say, every day that there's breath in our lungs is the day, right? This could be
yeah,
the day that you do the extraordinary service that God has called you to do. And it might be your last day, right? It might be our last Sunday. And so to have Easter energy, and I think we talked about this last Easter, to
probably.
have Easter energy every Sunday throughout the year,
Yep.
I think is really what the call is, to get people that excited and that connected to the ending of this story is really our task every every 7 days, right?
Yeah, it's yes, do special things when you know there's going to be a few more people in the space, but do
Right,
special things even when there isn't going to be. Just
right,
do special things in the middle of August, in
right.
early November, in late February.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it doesn't say Easter is the day the Lord has made, therefore it's this. This is the day. So
today,
whatever day, this
Wednesday,
is the day.
that's right. Some random Tuesday, and to live in the world like that, whew, I mean, that's like the bushes are all burning. That's
Yeah.
Jesus is coming back tomorrow. That's the kind of pray without ceasing. I think that's what we're trying to
Yeah.
actualize for ourselves.
So we'll have some Easter, but then don't worry, Riverside. We're gonna keep having Easter every single Sunday and every single day all year
Yes,
long.
all
Lots
year
of
long.
special things and keep that going. But oh, I love that. I love just that invitation. The people are the people, and preach to the people. Be present with the people. That's I'm sure you'll be saying that to yourself on that Sunday, and I hope all of our colleagues across the country, around the world, can hold that as well. Yeah, you might feel an extra butterfly. That's
Mhm.
okay. They remind you you're alive, you're doing something worth doing, but
Right.
then just give the people, meet people to the people.
Yeah.
Just, there might be a few more, but be faithful to what God has called you to do and
Right.
who you
Because the
are.
truth is, they are there in the hopes that you're going to give them something nourishing, something
Yeah.
delicious, something hopeful, something to chew on. So, yeah, it's a really extraordinary task that we are given. It
Yeah.
is really, I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. To be able to call this our work
Yeah.
is a real gift. To be able to play and think about how to help people open up and turn around, repent and do life differently for the good of God's creation. It's like I can't think of a better thing to
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
I'm with you there. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
Oh, well, everyone, if you're a pastor, faith leader, we are with you in this week and what's coming on Sunday. We got a lot in our Christian tradition happening, but it's a good journey. So be present as we go through it. Don't just be like be present in Thursday, be present in
Right.
Friday. Don't just jump to Sunday. Have the silence of Saturday, and then
Mhm.
have the celebration of Sunday. And this Sunday at Riverside, you will be invited for all that. So if you're watching this early enough, Maundy Thursday, we have a 7 p.m., I want to say, service. I think it's 7 in the evening. Check the website.
Yes.
That's in the room and online. That'll be a Tenebrae service, a little darkness going on. Friday, Good Friday, we begin at 12 noon and run for a good chunk of time. I'm not sure what the run time is going to be this year, but it
Three.
covers all 7 last words with embodied practices and meditations. So that's again available in the nave and online. Saturday, there'll be space available at the building with a labyrinth to walk. So that's at home. You got to just get a tattoo of a labyrinth like I have, then you can walk your own labyrinth. Um,
There also will be calligraphy prayer. So our intern Laura Sasaki Norton will be there. The labyrinth will be there, and there'll be calligraphy prayer and pastoral care.
ooh,
Because this can be a really wonderful day to contemplate loss and grief,
yeah.
all of the good stuff.
And then Sunday.
And then
Sunday, we will have a day. There will be lilies, there'll be timpani, there'll be brass, there'll be choirs singing and people
Easter
filling the
eggs.
space. Easter eggs after worship for those who want to do that. So lots of good things coming up for everybody. So there you go, everybody. Glad you can join us however you can. Looking forward to seeing you in all these spaces and ways. It's going to be another Sunday, and it's going to be another great one.
That's right.
We'll see you all there.